Our Bloomberg visual data team put together a fantastic infographic on the real cost of filling up, and it shows gasoline prices by the country. Take a look inside my Bloomberg terminal. You're looking at the U.S. The average price for a gallon of gas is $2.74 and ranks 52nd in the world. America needs to spend about 1.77% of their day's wages in order to be able to buy it. And all in all, Americans spend about 2% of their income on gas. I had no idea about that very cool breakdown.
No, it's very cool. So joining us now is the man who broke those numbers down, Tom Randall, Sustainability Deputy Editor for Bloomberg News. Tom, let's just start with what surprised you most about these findings.
Well, gas is cheap right now. I mean, I filled up the other day and it was like $2.20 a gallon, which I've never thought I would see prices like that again. And that's really coming through in the data here. And I think the one thing that surprised me is how universally across the board prices decline. So since the oil price crash and since around November, gasoline prices have declined in every single country we looked at, all 61 countries. The average decline in gasoline price was about 15%. So that's something we've never seen before. Usually there's local fluctuations and price and that sort of thing.
What was interesting, too, in your analysis was the countries where gas is pretty unaffordable. If you take a look inside my Bloomberg terminal one more time, I'm looking at the most unaffordable country, and that's India, about 80% on unaffordability level. Why is that? What does that mean?
Well, India is a very interesting example to look at because if you look at their price of gas, $3.95 a gallon, that's not that high. But in India, because of their low wages, it makes it very unaffordable, and you'd have to work almost an entire day to afford a single gallon of gasoline. Oh. And the effect that that has is in a lot of countries, you know, when you have higher incomes, you end up consuming more. In India, it's just so unaffordable that they don't consume very much at all. So they actually spend very little of their annual incomes on gasoline because they just aren't driving.
Because incomes are so much lower, whereas in France, it's a lot more expensive, but they also make a lot more money. What's the basic explanation for why gas prices vary so much by country?
Well, there's basically two main levers on gasoline price. One, you have taxes, which in Europe, and especially Northern Europe, that's where you see the really high gas prices, the $7, $8 a gallon in Norway or the Netherlands that's driving so much electric vehicle adoption. Then on the flip side, you have subsidies. And that's what you see in countries like Venezuela, where this year it was very interesting. In Venezuela, it's now a tenth of a penny per gallon of gasoline.
Whoa.
So you can actually fill up a Suburban for about 5 cents.
We should go down there, fill up our car, and then drive back with some gasoline in the back.
Yeah, I think borders control might have a little concern.
One other part I just wanted to point out in your survey, if you come inside my Bloomberg terminal one more time, is to look at the income spent, and South Africa ranked the highest in terms of how much of their income they have to spend on gas. This was also surprising to me. I know energy there is quite expensive. Why is that?
It's a combination of relatively low wages, but they also drive a lot. So unlike India, where people don't drive because they really can't afford it, in South Africa they drive a lot, but they also can't afford a gallon of gasoline very much.